love to hike.
I love to hike.
I love to hike.
I love to hike.
Please subscribe to my channel, and if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and feel free to tell all of your friends. Hi, I'm Pam. I'm 60 years old and I love to hike. Today is hike number 4 of the 52 Hike Challenge, and we were going to Cowiche Canyon in Yakima, Washington.
But honestly, it has been one of those weeks.
In the middle of our hike last weekend, Walt got a phone call from his brother Eric, telling him that his dad was dying. Sadly, Jerry passed away last weekend. So we have come to Yakima to help Walt's mom with all the arrangements necessary at this stage of life. While it's been a difficult week, it has also been a celebration of Jerry's life. Richa had her 91st birthday on Wednesday, and we took her to Jerry's favorite restaurant, a little Italian place called Zesta Cucina. Walt is going through piles of family photos to put together a video collage for the memorial. Lots of laughs, lots of good memories, such a great family. So with that, let's celebrate life with a hike through, well, not Cowiche Canyon. I was all prepared to talk about the Cowiche Canyon Conservancy protecting the shrub steppe landscape surrounding Yakima. Walt's brother Eric joined us, and he is just great to have around. But when we got there, Cowiche Trail was so icy that it took us only a couple of minutes to decide that we were quite unprepared.
Instead, we decided on an urban hike through one of Yakima's old residential neighborhoods. I'm an architect, and Walt is an engineer, so we never get tired of looking at architecture wherever we travel. The neighborhood was established in the late 1800s, well before the days of cookie-cutter Mick houses. Lush with mature trees and gorgeous landscaping, it's a beautiful area, even in the dead of winter. Kind of unusual for this kind of neighborhood, the houses run the full gamut of styles. You've got reminders of its agricultural beginnings in the occasional irrigation ditch, cool modern murals painted along the sidewalks, and everything in between. Colonial revival houses started during the 1700s when European settlers in North America got homesick for their native countries. At first, this style was all about copying, or trying to copy, what they knew from back home. They also wanted to prove that they were just as good as those wealthy schmucks they left behind. The colonial houses built between 1880 and 1945 were usually custom designed with fine architectural details. The neo-colonial houses built after 1945 are what you see in the newer suburbs. These are plainer and less detailed and, well, really, more assembled than crafted. Shingle-style houses came on the American scene between 1880 and 1900. The idea was that the softwood construction would blend into its natural surroundings, which often didn't work. But this is an American classic. Now, craftsman bungalows are just about everyone's favorite. They started with a magazine called The Craftsman in 1901, where homemade bungalow kits were sold for about $1,000. The arts and crafts movement hated the rise of industrial mass manufacturing, so they focused on handcraft and simple, folksy design. The word bungalow comes from an 18th century Hindi word for a small hut with a thatched roof, so their popularity took off, and copycat bungalows cropped up all over the United States, with cheap housing kits becoming available in magazines everywhere, including the Sears catalog. French revival homes long for the French countryside. They have tall, steeply pitched roofs, front gables, and stone or stucco walls. Their popularity grew when American World War II veterans came back from spending time in France. French revival houses are very distinctive and somehow manage to be both rustic and sophisticated at the same time. Modernist houses, on the other hand, are all about exposed concrete walls, floors, and roofs. These houses are generally sleek and elegant, and you can just imagine them filled with IKEA furniture. And then we have the ranch house. At the end of World War II, war vets returned home ready to resume their lives and raise families. But unfortunately, not many houses had been built during the Depression or the war. Western Europe and the Soviet Union built high-rise rental apartments to solve their crisis, but Americans did things their own way. We created a consumer product that people wanted to buy. The ranch style took off since it was basically one story, easy to mass produce, and made of simple and cheap materials. This solved America's post-war housing crisis and reflected the shiny new ideal of suburban family life. Much like French Revival, Tudor Revival showcases a steep roof. It also has a picturesque chimney, casement windows, and, most importantly, the decorative half-timbering. As this style took over during the 1920s and 30s, new streetcar suburbs were filled with these pitched roof homes. They gave an illusion of aristocracy to the middle and upper middle classes moving to these new suburbs. Spanish Revival houses focus on the Mediterranean, with stucco walls, terracotta tile roofs, and often a series of arches across the front. Italian architecture features tall windows, gently sloping roofs, and overhanging eaves supported by decorative corbels. This style was inspired by rambling Italian farmhouses and villas. Victorian homes often bring to mind a dollhouse. The Industrial Revolution kicked off a major Victorian trend as materials became cheap and easy to get. Even lower-income families could afford the elaborate trim and decorations to turn their existing homes into folk Victorians. And then there's the cottage. This is a catch-all style, but generally quite small, meant for a single family, and very cozy. Of course, a few houses in this neighborhood, and any neighborhood, are impossible to characterize, either because they started as one style and morphed into another, or because they have so many, or so few, defining characteristics of any single style. But they're all fun to look at. And don't forget, every neighborhood needs at least one haunted house. Urban hikes may not be as exciting as trails through the mountains, but they're still a great way to get outside and even see a lot of nature. This neighborhood recently became a local historic district. Residents are trying to get it on the National Register of Historic Places. And with that, I will see you next time.